Welcome back to the Daily Bollocks. Welcome to the Coercion Playbook, a forensic audio analysis of key alternative influences. The British alternative right appears to be eating itself alive, yet a forensic audio analysis of key influencers reveals a massive anomaly. Distinct creators are deploying a highly disciplined, identical script to suppress infighting. Take Subject 1, Bob from Speaker's Corner, and Subject 2, Paul Thorpe. A surface-level viewer sees two different men, but when mapped together, we uncover a unified script. Organic commentary diverges, but propaganda synchronizes. Our analysis reveals the anatomy of a playbook, structured as a psychological funnel. This funnel relies on three sequential tactics to trap the audience: fear via the paired threat, panic via the artificial clock, and guilt via moral shaming. The ultimate goal at the bottom of this funnel is to drive the audience into a unified, coerced voting bloc for Reform UK. Let us break down the pillars of this funnel. Pillar 1 is the paired threat, utilising fear. To force broad alignment, both creators bypass the incumbent government to construct a dual-headed bogeyman. Bob warns his audience that division on the right will almost certainly guarantee either another Labour government or, even worse, a Green government. Paul Thorpe uses the exact same tactical framing, commanding his viewers to vote for anyone that keeps the Greens and the Labour Party out of positions of power. The analytical takeaway is clear. Both creators elevate the Green Party alongside Labour to create a terrifying paired threat that justifies extreme electoral compromise. Pillar 2 is the artificial ticking clock, weaponising panic. Fear is not enough to force action. The script requires panic. To shut down ideological debate, they manufacture a rapidly closing window. Bob explicitly sets this deadline, claiming, quote, "We've only got 2 election cycles to get a grip of the situation before it gets away with us." Paul Thorpe mirrors this exact urgency, stating, quote, "For the next 2 years at the very least, we can forget any fantasy. Right now, we need to take the centre of the ring." By establishing this arbitrary 2-year deadline, both creators explicitly declare there is zero time for fantasy or perfect alignment. Pillar 3 is moral shaming, utilising guilt. This frames tactical voting as a mandatory moral sacrifice. Bob demands that right-wing players, quote, "sacrifice their pride, sacrifice their position," insisting it's not about you, it's about the future of this country. Paul Thorpe identically commands his viewers to give this safety valve their backing, quote, "not because we particularly want to, but because we know in our heads, we know in our hearts that ultimately it's our duty, country before party." Voters resisting the unified vote are shamed. Personal conviction is rebranded as stubborn pride, while submission is elevated to patriotic duty. But the coordinated script extends beyond broad themes. It dictates the exact personnel to be addressed. We see a synchronized roster of acceptable but contained alternatives, specifically Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib and Nick Tenconi. They are deployed as pacifiers, acknowledged to appease the base but systematically neutered to prevent vote splitting. This is the management spectrum. Bob utilises validation, elevating these figures to establish credibility, highlighting Habib's humility and positioning Rupert Lowe as the commanding voice. Paul Thorpe utilises dismissal, acknowledging their influence but brutally dismissing them, telling viewers to forget any fantasy about Robert Lowe and restore Ben Habib and advance UK. It is a dual mechanism. Flatter the base by acknowledging their heroes, then shame 'em into abandoning 'em at the ballot box. Finally, we arrive at the synthesis, the architecture of coercion. The formula is undeniable. The threat of Labour and the Greens, combined with the urgency of a 2-year clock, creates the catalyst. This catalyst, combining a target list that bypasses figures like Lowe and Habib, driven by the moral guilt of country before party, leads to one outcome: forced subservience to the unified right-wing vote. This is the anatomy of a top-down propaganda script. It is meticulously designed to suppress right-wing infighting by routing all dissenting independent voters through a gauntlet of fear, panic and shame until only one electoral choice remains. Thanks for watching the Daily Bollocks. Like, subscribe and comment. See you next time.